And welcome everyone to Supercross Live. I'm Lurch along a 6-time national champion, Broc Glover, for the Dunlop, a motorcycle tire track walk. And we told you guys yesterday to tune in. Hopefully you guys have already turned in, but man, we're about to turn this track loose. So all the riders are going to get the first real look. Some guys rode press day, but most of them, they're getting the first feel, the vibe. It's watered. It's ready to go for racing.
Yeah, last time we were here at Anaheim, it was a season opener. A lot of butterflies. Everybody's unsure of themselves. Now we got a few races under our belt, and we're back here at Anaheim. Track looks fantastic. Luckily, Mother Nature's cooperating. We had a little of a Santa Ana conditions, if you know those from California weather, where they get a little dry, humidity, a little bit of wind, and it gets kind of hard packed. So yesterday was a little firm for the press day, but today overcast skies just is what we want. Calm winds and nice moisture on the track. So looking forward to launching down this 300-foot. This is a long one.
303, it looks like from me. I mean,
303. There you go. Yeah, we have 303 feet to be exact. The starting line. So it's a little longer than a traditional Anaheim and much longer than the first Anaheim, where we had the basically a carousel start.
Now, guys, we are taking questions throughout this broadcast, so make sure you post those. We'll try to answer as many as we can. And one of the questions we've been getting is, hey, is it just the same old Anaheim track that they just sort of left here for 2 weeks or 3 weeks and then we came back to it? Not at all, folks. They have revamped this. As soon as the race was done after Anaheim won, they took all the dirt, loaded it in the center, because we had another event in here. Monster Jam came in the week after that. So then those guys, they built the track they needed for the Gravediggers, the Max D's, and now they've rebuilt it again because those guys put it all in the center. One of the most important things is, once they got this dirt here in A1, you have to remember, it was covered, it was protected, it was holding moisture. So that first one, I think we're going to see a lot of different changes to the dirt, how hard it is, maybe even some blue groove here. It's seen the sunshine for almost a month. Monster Jam rode on it, so it's getting compacted. They're turning the dirt over. A lot of that moisture that was internal, that's gone now.
Yeah, to me, they've got plenty of moisture right now in the track. I mean, we actually feel the mud sticking to our feet. Typical Southern California adobe, but in no time at all, you see in track walk right now, the riders are coming out for their first view of the track. A couple of the teams rode press day yesterday, so some of them got, there was a fantastic, spectacular, more like it, crash from 250 SX points leader Christian Craig. Ended up on Supercross Live. Somebody got a lucky video of that. I saw it, but Christian is fine. If anybody's wondering about that, maybe we can find him and get a word with him. But it was a good sized crash on the left side, but it's again, Supercross walked away, no problem, unscathed. So
let's make the turn. Obviously, we've seen some great starts and some rough starts in our first 3 rounds of competition. This one pinches off pretty quick into this first obstacle.
Yeah, this is a tight decrease in radius corner here. It gets very, very tight, very, very quick. So the whole shot will be coming up on the inside, which is not traditionally the race line. They'll be coming up from the very, very inside and immediately launching right into a combo here that's, as you can see, multiple heights in the jump, depending on what they do, probably triple into the table and into the corner. So this could be done in 2 bounds here if they get it done right. Or if you're coming outside, they'll jump right into the second one and then clear from there. But it's still, I think the last one is going to end up table into the corner into the 180.
She's a little slick here on the downside, always is.
If you hear a grunt or a thump, you'll know we hit the dirt there. But it's definitely muddy, a little slippery right now, but it doesn't take much of this kind of dirt to tack right up and be in great conditions.
Now, as you'll see in the final lap, once we complete 1 full lap, they're actually going to jump part of the track, and they're going to land on the downside of where we did. So this is going to be pretty standard. They're going to roll that first one at the beginning on the start, but after that, it's going to be like that every single lap, the same pattern through this, from what I can see.
Yeah, and that first corner actually follows a set of whoops. So they'll be doing a sharp 180. They won't be coming into the same angle that we walked into it from the first turn. So again, if you guys have any questions about the track or the track walk, you guys put your questions in the comments below, and we'll try to read as many as we can.
We've seen a lot of action in the first 3 rounds as far as some aggressive passing. And some other big moves, and this could be setting up for one of those corners. These guys have to be a little aggressive, but we don't want it over the top. And there's a fine line. Some of the guys have crossed it, and other guys have ridden the line where they're like, okay, no infractions, it was just good racing.
Well, you said it, Lurch, not me, and I'm kind of glad you brought it up, to be honest with you. Yeah, we've had some close contacts, a few penalties passed out, actually a complete disqualification. So it's been rough and tumble. Supercross isn't it's always been a tough sport. It's not something that put it this way: we're not flopping around on the ground hoping to get a yellow card, right? So it's a real tough sport. So that corner right there, that 180 behind us, it's going to be interesting because it is a right-hander. That is your braking side, so your foot's going to be on the inside peg with the brake. You can't really take your foot off for the corner, so there's going to be some. That's like having a right-hand first corner. They usually don't set them up like that.
Hey, you know, we got a little question here. Kind of random, but what do you say the estimated cost is to build a Supercross track this size?
Ooh, that's
like cost of dirt, I guess you could say.
Well, they've already bought the dirt. So all the dirt that you see here is owned by Feld. They'll use it for Monster Jam. They used it for Arena Cross back in the day. They use it for Supercross. It's stored on site here in one of the back parking lots. It's covered. So the cost of actual dirt, and the reason they do that is they don't want to just go out and try to find 6,500 cubic yards of dirt that is good for building a Supercross track. So what they'll do, they bought that, they protect it, and then they use it for all the events. That's one cost that they have initially up front. But then the trucking costs, if you're only bringing it across the parking lot and into the building, you're not paying for these round trips that might be 6-7 miles away. And some of the stadiums that we do go to, you will see those larger distances, so the trucking cost gets up there. So it really depends on where we are, where they store the dirt, and it could be under an overpass bridge, it could be somewhere. And I actually heard that for Atlanta, when we were at the Speedway, they actually dug it up by an airport.
Wow.
So it wasn't typical sifted, make sure there's no car parts from Monster Jam or Gravedigger left something in the dirt. But yes, this could be the same dirt that Ricky Carmichael, Jeremy McGrath rode on. So it's got, yeah, you could be you too.
You never know.
I don't know when they started buying dirt.
So one of the other points I was going to bring up, that the cost, Anaheim and the races that you see, multiple races, San Diego, where you have Monster Jam and Supercross races, and particularly Anaheim, where we have 3 of them, and you have a couple of monster truck events.
It's about a month and a half.
So you got about a month and a half that this dirt stays in the stadium. So that just, you can basically amortize the cost of to build the track, to bring the dirt in and all that. It's just a much cheaper event if you cost average it over the 5 events that the Feld does here at the Anaheim Stadium.
Yep, bring it in once, bring it out once, and then have a whole bunch of great, fantastic events in between.
Yep.
I think most people don't realize that they store the dirt either. I think that's...
Yeah, absolutely.
And see, that's one of the things. Here at Anaheim, they cover it all in the back parking lot. We're going to turn and get a look at the face of this triple, one of the big obstacles.
Yeah,
that's okay. I've fallen into stuff like that before. I'll take one for the team.
And the reason we're not walking on the track, it is pretty darn muddy, as you can see. I mean, everybody's shoes, and it's getting a little slippery, but it will definitely tack up very quickly today. Again, the humidity levels aren't that high, and the moisture will go away in the track. So the Dirtworks crew knows how to keep the track optimal moisture amounts all the way until the evening program, and that's their ultimate goal. Not how it is in first practice, not even how it is in the first qualifying session, but how it races on the evening program, and that's the goal.
And, they start bringing the dirt in on Mondays. If it's a brand new stadium and there's no dirt in there, they start bringing it in on Monday. And these guys basically have the track done by, I believe, Thursday for press day. They might have the whoops to finish building or a couple little finishing touches. But all in all, they have it done. The incredible part about the track is how fast they can break it down. If they need to have the dirt all the way out here, you can see the plywood along the side protecting the field. Sometimes they'll put plastic down. But how fast that they can get this out of here, they'll have it sweeped up, cleaned up, and I believe it's like Monday afternoon. So the track crew, once they break down all the structures, the tough blocks, everything's loaded, they'll be out of here Sunday, hopefully before the sun comes up. So once that checker flag goes off, these guys really put the work in. Hats off to Feld's track crew and also Dirtworks for everything they do. Broc going to the high side here.
I'm going to the high side on the downside of, I think, about, what is it? 64 feet. Yeah, it's our standard triple.
You knew.
And 64 feet, and they just looks like a nice traditional landing into a flat corner of what would be home plate. If you're a baseball player, this is standing right behind home plate. So, there you go. There's a familiar new face.
Yes, indeed. Joseph.
Joseph, yeah, of course, man. How are you, buddy?
Good.
Yeah,
So you're Mr. Broc Glover?
I am. Are you going to tag along with us?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, very good.
Indeed.
Yeah, rumor has it that we're not going to have Mr. Lurch next week.
I know.
What's up? You're going to go bass fishing?
I am. I do multiple things, and that's one of them. And maybe we should have the fans sort of put some wild cards out there. I mean, I know you had a couple guys that were maybe in the mix that you might want to have do it. Who are your 2 choices?
Well, I think We'll see if maybe Joseph will join us, but I was also think we got to bring a little fan, a little rider perspective. Maybe bring in like a privateer or two, just to, we all hear about all the factory, riders and how they look at tracks, and of course they're doing all the obstacles. But I was thinking of bringing, maybe asking one of these privateer riders to help co-host,
like a Josh Hill or something.
Well, let's do it. We should think about maybe a Josh Hill or a Carson Brown or something like that. One of these guys that rides in the 250 or the 450 class. But maybe we can have the fans and the people, the viewers, vote on who they want to see be one of the co-hosts with Joseph and myself, huh?
Well, that sounds good to me. One of the things you can do, go to Ride Dunlop on Instagram.
Let's do the vote at Ride Dunlop, our Instagram page, and just put in comments if you want to see at Josh Hill or you want to see at Carson Brown. Who do you want to hear?
Or we have Stank Dog.
Well, we could do one of those guys, but let's do. This week we're going to do Carson Brown, Josh Hill. You guys vote. Who do you want to see do it?
And Josh, a previous winner here at Anaheim, so it's good to throw his name.
Well, yeah, Josh Hill is. You're talking about somebody who's actually, he won at Minneapolis. I know that for a fact. He won a Supercross at Minneapolis 450 class too. So he's got the experience. He knows what it feels like to stand on top of the podium. Had a little injury, got away from the sport for a little bit, but now he's trying to make a resurgence, and I know he popped into the main event last week.
Sort of a wall jump there. Could be a couple different combinations these guys have here.
Well, we're coming up onto the section. If those of you we talked about earlier with Christian Craig's little combo here, there's not too many riders with any more talent than Christian Craig. He's just poetry on a bike, and he's just, beautiful to watch ride. And when he's doing a combination, if he makes a little mistake, I'll tell you right now, the rest of the riders are for sure going to struggle because he makes things look real easy.
We already have a lot of Josh Hill votes.
Oh, well, Josh, we'll have to tell Josh.
He's got a couple friends, including me and you. That's for sure.
That's right. So you got to go to at Ride Dunlop to vote for it, because we're going to count the votes up, and by about, I think maybe Wednesday or so, we'll tell you who's the winner, okay?
Fantastic mechanic right here, Ollie. Let's talk about it. Switching teams this year under helping Barsha out. Red Bull gas machine. How's the transition for you? Different tent, different team. What's the feel?
Different color, same tools. So it's not too much difference. The bike's the same, 2 wheels and an engine, but it's different. 450 program. A little more pressure, a little more intensity. Just different. Sometimes change is good. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
I just want to get back on the podium.
One of the best. Hey, you were there before. You can get there again. Best of luck this weekend, guys.
All right, thanks, Ollie. Okay, well, Buddy Antonez working with him.
What up?
Man, how are you, buddy?
BG.
Very good.
Good to see you.
I think I saw you on Mad TV or something.
Was I?
Can't say that. We probably can't get in trouble saying that.
Edit it.
This is live. There is no editing.
Sorry, I saw you at the MX Combine. You were one of the coaches. And what did you think about that ball?
I had a blast, and it's kind of fun to know that we got some of this young talent coming up and going to go over to Supercross Live.
Yeah, one of the ones at the MX Combine is going to be riding tonight in the Supercross Futures. We saw him at Oakland dominate the field, but he's got another gentleman named Gavin Towers, a couple other riders coming in here. Some of the other riders at the Combine are also competing tonight, Supercross Futures. Yeah,
Ryder D. Yeah, he's being groomed for this series, so it's kind of good to see these guys out here and some of the other kids out here to get experience. I think it's huge.
Well, you heard it from Buddy Antonez. They're talking about one young phenom and another young phenom that I watched ride. This guy was as good as any young rider on an 80cc bike I've ever seen.
When you talk about the breeding grounds, it used to be Arena Cross. You have multiple titles in it, and then now helping up some of the future generation.
Yeah, no, it's a great step for me to be able to pass on some of my knowledge. Broc mentored me a little bit back in the PJ1 Arena Cross days, and now I'm able to kind of take that and pass it down what I can and help these kids learn and grow and get better and be the best they can be.
Okay. Who are you working with tonight?
Brandon Hartranft.
All right, there we go. So we'll watch out for Brendan. Okay, thanks, man.
Good to see you guys.
All right, man. Take care.
Fun.
Bye-bye.
Great to see some of the superstars still involved in the sport. You see through the years, you've seen Jeff Stanton, Jeff Ward, some of those guys that
Johnny O'Mara working with the Lawrence brothers. You got it.
Oh, we got some Carson Brown.
Oh my Lord! So hey, speaking of Carson Brown, we threw you under the bus, dude. So next week, this is what we got going here.
Yeah.
And next week, Lurch can't be there.
Sorry.
So
previous plans.
So we got a little co-host going on here. We're trying to figure out we want to get one of the privateer riders, and so I threw your name in there, knowing that you're up for anything, and Josh Hill. So the fans or people, anybody viewers, are going to go to at Ride Dunlop, and we'll have them vote for one or the other, and maybe you'll post it on your social media sites and encourage your people to vote for you.
Yeah,
and then obviously great. Josh to do the same. We'll see which one comes out on top, and and we'll have you as a co-host next week, and you can give us a privateer's perspective of the Supercross track in Glendale.
I'd absolutely love to do that. Sounds like a good plan.
All right, well, good luck tonight, and
if
no more crossbars.
No more crossbars in the fish.
All right.
And if you guys are voting when you go to Ride Dunlop, make sure you give those guys a follow too, because who knows, I might miss a couple others. I don't know if you knew that, but I know that. So we might have some new names in the mix. So make sure you follow Ride Dunlop and put your votes in. It's going to be a good time.
I'm going to go up. We're going to go up and get muddy here. We're going to go up and get up on the real track again here. All right.
This is really where those Dunlops come into play.
You got it, man. We got to have those Dunlops working overtime in this for the first couple of sessions. No question.
Exactly.
But this was the combo right here that we saw where Christian Craig got a little rodeo here on us.
Yeah, he was doing something that a lot of the 250s weren't, where he was actually going from the wall over the table.
Right.
And then after the table, you go 3, 3, 3, and ended up getting so much traction, it seemed that he was able to overshoot one of the threes.
Yeah.
Which sent him into
3,
the
3,
floor.
3.5.
Yeah,
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, the 3, 3, 3.5 right into the face. But yeah, it was a big save, no question about it. At least a save of an endo, and then at that point he had to let it go. And our catcher's fence here definitely caught his bike, which was what it's designed to do. All right, we're heading in down the hill here into another big 180. The one thing I like about this 180, it's a little bit more open. It's not nearly as tight. And so when it gets a little more open like that, it gives some people some opportunities to come down on the inside. And also it gives the rider that might be the one that's the person getting past, be able to check up and then square down and be able to get back underneath and counter. So it's
I'm staying to the
little wider. Yeah, I'm getting about 3 inches taller with the mud packed on my bottom of my shoes here. Yep. And that little combo right out of the corner, quick double, blast into it. I recognize there's a cowboy hat over there. I don't know too many other riders wearing a cowboy hat except that.
Just one.
AP number 7, sitting there with Jade Dungy as mechanic. A little bit of success in that Dungy family home there, huh? I recognize that last name from something, some sort of.
And Big Troy just had a birthday not maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh, very good, very good. So another nice little combo. Looks like it's pretty spread out. Traditional dirt works track here. Nice clean pockets, wide enough for the riders to get a good run.
I might high speed it through these. They're going to try to do the same thing, but I'm going to high speed it to the next bowl.
Okay, let's go
Come on,
for
guys,
it.
let's
So we
go.
got to rip down here to the Dunlop Bowl. Look at this little piece. I want to show you something right here, though. This is your typical Southern California, particularly Anaheim dirt. Lots of moisture on the top, but as soon as a couple of somebody's footprint, all the mud sticks to the bottom of your shoe, and then right underneath it, look at that. You got hard packed dust. So it's really hard to get the moisture all the way into the ground. Look at that. There you go, man. There's pretty cool.
We got Christian Craig behind us as well.
Oh yeah, walking up. We might be able to get a little word with him. Let's see what he says there. Why don't you go grab him? Hey, Kristen. Just in a brief mention, you want to just. Obviously, there's a lot of people social media. You got a good laugh out of. I saw your comments. That was a stunt double. Want to describe for the fans here just a quick little combo what you were doing over there?
It is, I don't know. I brain farted, I guess. On one of the threes, I went a little long and thought I'd be fine, but the next thing I know, I was getting whiskey in the corner. So
Yeah, you did the right thing. I mean, you brought the front end up and kind of let it go.
Yeah,
Yeah, good.
those things happen, but it looked worse than it was. I kind of rolled out of it just fine. So I went and fixed my bike and came out for the next session.
Perfect. And on a very positive note, truly a great ride last week in San Diego. I know for certain that you really wanted to win in your hometown like that, and I completely understand. There's a great feeling to winning in a hometown like that. But I think you earned the respect of a lot of fans doing what you did. Bent up motorcycle, did not give up, and you charged like crazy all the way through the pack to get back on the podium. So
Yeah, no, I mean, it worked out good, but you never want to be in those positions at the start. So
Yep,
it is part of it.
Yeah.
Those things happen, and just try to make the best out of that situation. That's what we did.
I think I kind of mentioned to you, that's how championships are won, with rides like that. It's not your best nights that win championships. We've heard it over and over from a lot of good people. I hear Ricky Carmichael mention it over. You win your championships on your off nights, and if that's your off night, buddy, keep it going. So good luck tonight. All right. Well, you heard it from Christian Craig there. It's no question. Last week, A lot of respect, man. He already had my respect. He's got so much talent, but he earned even more at San Diego with what he did there, coming from dead last with a pretty bent up motorcycle to finish back up on the podium. It was an amazing ride, and comes back here and
I heard a fact that his comeback last week was the second best comeback in the last decade.
wow.
Yeah, there was only one that was better than his.
Wow. Who did it come from? You, Lurch?
Heck no.
We have another question here. So, like, last weekend, whenever he has the first turn pile up, bike's all mangled.
Yep.
Are they replacing the whole bike, or are they just fixing that bike?
Well, that one happened in the main event. What happens when a motorcycle gets crashed in a heat race and you have something like that, then panic mode goes. And it's not really panic, and the better teams, they have multiple riders, a couple of extra staff people helping get the bike ready, because they'll have to jump right into an LCQ in many cases. So the time to fix that motorcycle is pretty condensed depending on which heat race you're actually in. The worst one is if you're a 450 guy in the last heat, you mangle your bike. All you have is a 250 LCQ and maybe a KJSC program, and then you got to get right back out there. So in his case, in Christian's case, there wasn't much for him to do other than, if he needed to pull into the pits, have his mechanic work on the bike briefly to get it back to where he can safely compete. But if your bars are tweaked like they were or something like that, you just got to gut it out. And that's what he did. And he rode really, really well, came all the way through. And as you mentioned, the second largest comeback, I assume they're counting how many people he passed.
Yes.
Yeah. The only one I remember personally was a Carmichael, but that was more than a decade ago, back in Pontiac, Michigan. I remember it distinctly. It was Nathan Ramsey's first and actually only Supercross win, but it was Honda's first 450 four-stroke win in the Premier class. And Ricky looped out riding a two-stroke 250 Honda, and visor broken off, everything. He came from basically dead last, and honestly, within a couple of more corners, he might have won. He finished right behind Nathan. Honda went 1-2 over the finish line, and that comeback by Ricky Carmichael was one of my, it's burned in my memory forever, and it was an amazing comeback.
I'm taking the shortcut, guys. It gets a little muddy there, gets a little muddy here.
Yep.
The face of that monster triple.
Yep. Dunlop 180 bowl, another kind of a tight one, not quite as tall as the last one we were in. So we have 2 or 3 180s on this course, so it's kind of a setup for some good block passing like we like to see in Supercross. Right into a triple, another, as we know, 64-footer here. So
and this is another situation where in a baseball stadium where the runs will be shorter, the turns will be a little bit tighter, so they can fill out all the space. When we were in Oakland, you saw more of a football, baseball stadium, so they use some of the longer runs there, the sweeping outsides. So every track, brand new design each and every year. They've never had a repeat track, so they get to designing, and I'm not sure who designed this one from Dirtworks, but usually one of them has a hand in it and get it approved, and here we are, race surface today.
Yeah, and I think there's only one 90-degree turn on this entire track. I believe there's a lot of 180 goals, which is going to make a lot of passion.
Well, that's a good observation there, Joseph. And speaking of that, so you had quite a bit of racing in your day. So tell,
sir.
Did you were you a guy that liked a first turn corner being to the left-hander or right-hander or 180 or 9? What was your preference?
I prefer the first turn being on the left, so that way I can feather the back brake if need be. That way I can kind of slide and have more control into the corner. But as long as I had some Dunlops, though, I was switching that throttle and hanging on.
There you go. So tell me, if you had to say, someone said, show me your best corner, we want to take this badass photo, dragging the handlebars.
Right.
To me, I remember the pictures of Roger DeCoster at the Bel Ray ad where Roger DeCoster was at Carlsbad Grand Prix dragging his handlebars. Marty Smith had some unbelievable photos like it. So I used to try to duplicate that. But when I tried to duplicate it, I only did it to a left-hander. I didn't try to do it with a right-hander. I don't know. Having that throttle in the mud, I wasn't my idea of fun. So what way, did you have a strong corner versus the other side?
I'm telling you, I think every rider, for the most part, will favor the left-hand turn just because of the more control you have.
Yep.
I think sending it and dragging the bars on a right-hand corner is almost 3 times as scary for me than sending it to the left, just because of the amount of control you lose, as well as, like you said, your throttle being the thing to touch the ground. If your clutch touches, it's just going to bog down the bike and you might lay it over. But if that throttle gets twisted in the corner, you could be on for a ride.
So you got your right hand, your rear brake, and the throttle on the right. So I think most riders probably do. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a survey of the fans of which corners which hand corner they like, if they like lefts or rights, but I think most people prefer a left.
You're talking about who likes left and right hand turns. Now we're coming up to a section that you're probably not going to get a whole bunch of thumbs up on, and that's the sand section. And we see it ever changing. We saw it at Oakland, where the lines change each and every lap. Looks like a couple rollers to get it mixed up and going, and then it's going to change each and every lap.
Yeah, this dirt here is like a fluid. This is like driving a boat or riding a jet ski across water, where what you're seeing by the time you actually go over it is actually moved. Well, this section, this sand is going to be moving around all the time. And here's another interesting left and right combo. We haven't seen a whole lot of right-hand sand corners. I remember in Houston, where we had a Chase Sexton was well out ahead. I believe it was Houston. It was with Texas for sure. And he was well out ahead. Looked like he was on his way to win his first win. And then he crashed all by himself in the sand section. So it was a right-hander that race too. And you got to be careful. These things can bite you, even the best riders in the world. Back across the starting line here, see a couple of conferences going on here with the Twisted Tea Suzuki team, and then we passed those guys, just double clutched it right past them, didn't we? So here, totally flat, rock hard, lots of good areas to pass right here. This is the stuff, I know it seems simple, but this is some of my favorite obstacles on the track. When the track is just basically flat, simple, no grooves, no ruts. Riders can go anywhere. They can do outside in, outbrake somebody, get underneath them. And again, as we talked about earlier, another 180. We're not going to fight all this mud
They can do this
inside.
move too,
Lurch, do not fall down.
We saw that one a couple races.
Oh my gosh. Hey, maybe at the end of this thing, I don't know if you guys follow Lurch on social media, but can you imagine that he has a couple of clown posts? I mean, come on,
No,
really.
come on.
Like, I saw I didn't realize you were such a gymnast. I saw a pommel horse over a tough block one time.
That's how we used to jump chain link fences as kids.
Okay, well,
Nobody was chasing me.
I hate to
quote,
tell you,
unquote.
brother, you ain't a kid anymore. But I might have to call him out for a little bet here to see him do the pommel horse again on one of these
I
tough
think I
blocks.
could break it out again.
Yeah, well, we might have to get a tall one. We want one of those big old ones. We want to see if he can get a little pommel horse work here.
You might even see before the finish line somebody ride them high
Yeah.
like an old pair of jeans, just a little high
Yeah.
in this corner, and then they're set up for the big finish line. The big flames at the final lap, the 250, 450. It's going to be a big one.
This is the only true 90-degree corner with a berm on the entire track. Any other
Yeah, we got that
corners,
flatty over by home plate.
flat and then sand here. This is the only one where they can bank it in at 90 degrees.
Yeah, this here, I'm excited for tonight. You're talking about a sand section coming out of here.
Full sprint.
We talked about full sprint, flat as a pancake, all the way across into a full 180.
Whoa.
Jam session going on there, maybe a retaliation. This could be the dive bomb place. I mean, if you're going for the win or
Right,
the
that
last,
just hit me.
Hey, the last transfer. This is an awesome section, in my opinion. So I hope it doesn't let me down tonight, because this thing right here. This
I
could
don't
be
think it will. It just hit me.
action-packed.
It might let a couple riders down if they're in the receiving end of the.
Action-packed.
From the
okey-doke
triple
move.
Yeah.
all the way into the sand and everywhere. It's a battleground all the way up to the finish line. John.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. Good luck, dude. Okay, you're calling me out, are you?
Come on.
Okay.
I wasn't going to help you. I wasn't going to hurt you on
Come
that.
on.
Oh, he went the wrong spot.
He's going another crazy. Oh my God. All right.
I would not
So
have there,
finish line here at Anaheim 2. This is traditional. Every time I'm up here, it always looks so much farther. I can't even. But these guys make it look so easy. And we're going to head off this right here quickly. We're going to go show the last set of whoops here, because we're almost wrapping up a lap. And this is the part, I love that finish line corner, and then this next section is back-to-back whoops. So traditionally, a lot of tracks have a set of whoops and then another set on the opposite side of the stadium. But this one, that's not the case here at all. Got one set of whoops, and then you barely can take a breath to do a 180 corner, and then right back into another set of whoops. So these guys are going to be working hard, really physical section right here. Those whoops can take a lot out of you, get your heart rate up, and there's not a lot of time to take a breath between them. And at the end here, you'll see as we pop up into here, it's actually an elevated 180, but it's really open, and has a little knob on the inside to encourage the outside line, but you're going to see people do this is going to be a pretty good passing zone too. And as you come through this little section right here.
So you can see
I don't even think Josh Hill knows. I don't even think he knows we called him out here. So again, correction here, into a rhythm section, into a set of whoops. So. Hey, Mr. Hill there, Josh.
I'm going to bring you up. I'm going to bring you up to speed on the situation.
Okay.
I do the track walk with Broc. Yep. Every single week. Next week I'm not going to be there.
Okay.
So we threw your name in as one of the possibles that could do this track walk with him, explain the track from a rider's perspective, and Carson's going to.
Carson Brown's the other one. Right? Two names. 250.
So here's where the voting happens.
Okay.
Your fans send them to Ride Dunlop on Instagram.
Yep.
Have them type your name if they want you to do it.
Yep.
And if you win, then you might be able to do it next week. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you available next week?
Yeah. Okay. We got to make sure you're still available. Yeah. So what we're going to do is, this track walk, we'll have a link on the @Ride Dunlop Instagram page, and then the fans can just type in.
Where do they find you? Instagram.
Josh ILL75.
Josh ILL 18.
Yeah, I thought I was tricky when I was young.
Okay. Good.
You're still tricky when you're old too.
All right. So looking for Josh Hill's Instagram, and you need to just put his name in there or his Instagram account. Well, we'll have you posted too, so you can get all your voters, all your followers, and give you the vote.
Some great rides
so you can
so far.
All right.
Keep it up.
Put
Keep
that
it up.
thing in the main again, brother. Thanks. Okay. Sorry.
So it looks
All
like we possibly got our guys.
I think so.
All right, let's head up to that.
Yeah,
elevator
let's
thing
go
if we
for
can
it.
make
All right. So through the rhythm section, I misspoke and said it was whoops. Rhythm 180. Oh my.
It's all about weight distribution, just like when they're on the bike.
Oh my God! I got to get some gnarlier shoes. We need hazard pay to do this walk. This is too much.
So you can see we're elevated here, down
Right
about 5-6 feet. Going to be a good drop in. Maybe gain a little extra speed before they turn the whoops in. Ladies and gentlemen, check out these whoops. As fierce as they've been all year long.
Yeah, this is it. How about this? Coming down off of a 180. We're up higher than the whoops. Going to be loading the front end a little bit, and as soon as we get to the bottom here, after you G out a little bit, the riders are going to be able to use that gravity to lift the bike a bit, to get the unsprung the bike's weight, get it up on top of the whoops,
and then do the old.
Holy
see, look at that wingspan right there. I could get back on her.
Dude, I can't. These are crazy. Like, stand up there for a second, Lurs. I mean, here we are again. We always like to show the difference, but these are unbelievable.
I rolled these last night with a pit bike, and almost jumped off of it halfway because on television it doesn't do the whoop section justice. They are the scariest obstacle on the entire track. You can ride over everything else, but this section forces you to try whether you want to or not. It's scary. It's scary. And that little downhill section that you were talking about after that Dunlop turn, that's a part for a rider that sometimes is frustrating if whoops are your arch nemesis, because usually coming out of the turn, that's when you take a deep breath and you just hold on for dear life as you go through. But coming down like that, man, it adds a whole nother element that just doesn't.
Yeah, that's an interesting. You're totally right on that.
And so for some riders, it's a horror story, and the sequel comes 17 weeks all year long. And sometimes there's 2 sets in there. Sometimes not as long, but this is another long set. And some of the riders like, man, they haven't been easy here in the 2022 season.
No, they absolutely have not. And the whoops have been, this particular, this year has been the most difficult. And, it just falls right into the lap of guys like Christian Craig, Malcolm Stewart, and some of the riders that really do well. Jason Anderson, there's a group of them that do real well in the whoops. But this year, the whoops have separated the riders more than anything. I think it's been a nemesis for a couple of riders that I've seen that actually ended up with like the fastest lap time or whatever it may be, but they struggled in one set of whoops in particular, and they were never able to make any passes and move up through the field and didn't quite get a chance to get on the podium. So I think that this year particularly, the riders are really having to work on their whoops.
Absolutely.
Maybe we should ask the Dirtworks guys what got into them. Why did they just, they're
Well,
probably
look good on paper.
I know, they're going to tell us that it's always, they're the same, but man, this year I don't think the riders are going to tell you they're the same. They seem really tough. So, but this is wrapping up kind of a end of our lap.
The end of our lap, but if we have any more questions, will you have to take 1 or 2 more?
There's been a lot about the weather for today. Weather predictions. It looks overcast right now, but I believe it's going to be a nice day today. What do you guys think?
Overcast can be good for two reasons. Keeps the heat down, keeps the sun off the track from drying it out, gives the dirt works guys a little bit of a break, not have to water, keep that residual moisture in there. But as a rider, how do you feel about it?
Well, I do think in this particular case, we did have the Santa Ana winds. They kicked up a lot yesterday in the afternoon. They were overnight and they've died down, and the weather forecast is for the Santa Ana winds to dissipate and basically go away. So Santa Ana conditions is pretty much not going to be a factor tonight. We have a little overcast marine layer that we typically get in Southern California coastal cities, and this is perfect, as you mentioned, for it. And so I think it's going to be a great night. We're not going to have issues with wind. We're not going to have issues with that, so it's fantastic. And you want to talk about your shirt? Or?
Oh yeah, this
There we
shirt
go.
saves lives. St. Jude is one of the amazing partners of Supercross. They help out in terms of medical research. They help out in terms of helping families in need. And St. Jude, we're trying to see what we can do to help them out. So any way you can in terms of providing for St. Jude and helping them in their cause really helps us out as a community, because it shows that this is more than just a sport. This is a community, and we're all behind it wholeheartedly.
And make sure that you guys go to St. Jude online and check everything out, because the parents for these young sick children never receive a bill from St. Jude's. They get the best medical care ever, and the parents don't have to worry about lodging, the medical bills. The only thing St. Jude's worry about is getting those kids back up, running, and into the regular lifestyle, and they've done so many great things for so many great families. I think that might wrap it up. Make sure you guys tune in throughout the day. You're going to see qualifying and a whole bunch of stuff. You can always look for those great posts on supercrosslive.com. We will be back next week, minus me. They will be back for the Dunlop Motorcycle Tire Track Walk. You don't want to miss it. And until then, we'll all see you later.
And find out who our co-hosts.
Oh, yeah, got to vote.
Yeah, so Carson Brown or Josh Hill, who do you want to see standing right next to the two of us? Okay.